Welcome to the dark side, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chandler Pulaski, the host, and with me here tonight is...
Chandler Pulaski, and with me here today is...
No, Matt! Alex Mazzoni!
Oh, that's right! Alex Mazzoni!
No, Matt! You're Matt, I'm Alex Mazzoni, that's Chandler!
Stat Mealy here.
Stat Melee here. Today we're going to be looking at a great lineup. We got a Zorloto versus a Dr. DDD. We got he's a giant penguin monster from outer space and a princess. It's going to be really good. Back to you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Back to you, Jim.
My life is hell.
Back to you, Jim.
So, yeah, Dark Side's back. Everybody, I didn't upload an episode today.
I didn't do it.
I'm going to do it tonight.
This guy? I think it's time we just moved him. I think we got his car lost.
He's nice and he's not pulling weight.
Yeah.
Experimental podcast. Oh, I lost him. Oh.
I didn't lose it.
Yeah, you just
I
deleted
can't find it.
What does that mean, Chandler?
I didn't lose it. I just can't find it.
That means that he intentionally misplaced it. He just drank. He drank a whole lot one night, moved it somewhere, and like on purpose lost that stuff.
You can't lose stuff on purpose when you're drunk.
Listen, sometimes, well, not necessarily when I'm drunk, but sometimes I'll put like $20 somewhere, and it's like a really obscure place, so I totally forget about it, and then like 4 months later I find it, and it's really
Super satisfying.
yeah, it's super nice. It's so nice.
You're just making investments to yourself that maybe or maybe not.
Save this for a rainy day.
I used to do that.
Shoot, where's that $20?
Exactly. That's where I'm like, well, there may be some problems.
If I had some extra money, I'd like put it underneath my mattress and just kind of forget about it. Like 4 months later, I'd like lift it up.
I've done that.
And I'm like, whoa! I'm like, cha-ching!
Hold on a second. Eric, the interesting part of the podcast that people are going to want to see is facing this way.
I know.
And you're like you're all on me.
I know. I keep trying to.
If you stand on that chair,
No.
Dance.
Dance.
You may make a great video.
We're recording the podcast with my phone today, and it's going to be a thing.
That's gonna be shaky, dude.
It is. It's going to be
Is
interesting.
that like a Destiny thing? Sorry.
Is what a
very-
Destiny thing.
What Alex has in his hand is a clay bit thing.
Show it to the
But-
camera.
Is that Destiny?
It's
that-
This is actually 343 Guilty Spark.
Oh my! It is. Do you work for Bungie?
I work for Bunjo. I am a computer man, and my eye itches.
I'm the top computer man at Bunjo.
It's because you keep touching those keyboards.
Shush. What's on the agenda today?
Best cold open. OMFG. Thank you, Callie Quell.
Give me the deets.
Well, the deets today. Shoot, there were a couple of things we wanted to talk about. Nobody written. John Ritter.
John Ritter is on the fritz. My phone.
This is the best. This is the best episode of The Dark Side we've ever done. We got.
Oh, I know something we can talk about. Unless you're gonna dive right into it.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Whatever
so,
you got.
I guess we're gonna talk about news here. Chandler, I brought this up to you earlier today, and you knew about it. But Alex,
Yeah.
do you know what Tesla or Elon Musk's new thing that's coming out is? Do you know what?
Is it that flamethrower?
Yes, it is.
Dude, it looks so awesome. It's $500. The Boring Company and their new flamethrower. As long as the flame is below 10 feet, it's legal. Now, I've watched videos of that flamethrower already, but it's actually not really impressive. The flame only goes like 3 feet out.
Right. But it's a flamethrower that you can buy.
It's not a proper flamethrower. It's a recreational flamethrower.
It's
Yes.
because it shoots like a gas, right? It's not like a gas, like airy thing, like not a liquid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's what it is.
So, because like regular flamethrowers, it's like
They have like
it's basically shooting napalm,
Yeah.
so it sticks to things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, but as I was telling Chandler, like maybe Elon Musk, because we're like, oh, this is the guy that's like wants to like save the world, like he's doing all this environmental stuff. He's like, we're gonna take us to space. But then he's just like, hey guys, here's a flamethrower, and it's like, wait a minute, is he like the super villain? Where like he starts off, he's like the great guy, and everyone's like, he could do no wrong. and then he gives us all flamethrowers, and then he just like distorts our minds, and we just go haywire with them.
No, Elon Musk is
Elon Musk's generous.
Elon Musk generous is definitely an alien, guys. If you looked at him, like I don't know, he just doesn't get.
And he keeps sending things to space.
Mm-hmm.
He really likes
He's
space.
really focused on getting back to space. He really wants to go back.
And electric cars, alien. Don't like it.
He's sending a car to Mars. I don't know about that.
Yeah, he's sending his personal Tesla to Mars. That means that he's going back
I think
home.
I think he's got relatives on Mars.
Yeah, dude.
You guys want the sweet car?
I haven't seen his birth certificate. He's an illegal alien, dog. For sure.
For sure.
For sure, and 7 years ago.
I watched a video saying that if we did find alien life, it would spell disaster for humanity. Because, okay, so it's oh, I bumped the mic, but it's basically like this, okay? If we found intelligent life, it would basically be our doom. Not because it's like, oh, that means, you know, like that they're gonna come kill us. No, it's not that. It just means that the extinction event that most life gets to and does not pass, if like we found other intelligent life, would be after, like we haven't hit it yet. That'd be the problem, and we'd all die, because basically what they are thinking that there is right now, because you know we haven't found life anywhere, is that there is a kind of like a roadblock life has to pass in order to like succeed, and since we have not found, of course, any intergalactic on the way to intergalactic species, there's a roadblock. Obviously, there must be, because it's been billions of years and there's no intergalactic species yet. We haven't met anybody else, so we know there's a roadblock, you know, because there'd have to be, because that's just the way nature progresses, you know. People be like, oh, okay, self-preservation at this point, you know, Earth, limited resources, your planet has limited resources, the only way to get around that is to go to another planet, and then you populate your whole solar system, resources get limited again. Just keep expanding outwards. That's what science says. But we haven't seen that yet, so obviously there's some kind of hurdle that we have to pass as
recording? Keep talking.
as life or whatever. And I was watching this video saying that, like, okay, like since that we haven't found any intelligent life yet, or we have seen no evidence of it anywhere else, it's a good thing for us right now. It's because it means that the hurdle to pass is way behind us in that case. Because we haven't found any life, let alone.
So we are the intergalactic life.
Yeah. So
at this moment.
In this moment, we're the farthest ahead of everything else, because obviously we found no life anywhere else so far, and no evidence of it. And I mean any life at all. Like we haven't found living bacteria or anything like that out there. So it means that somewhere along the line we passed that first hurdle, which might just be, you know, the
structure of some sort.
Yeah, some kind of like genetic structure of like just, you know, what life, whatever. But so since we haven't found any life at all, that's the good thing. If we found it right now, and like we found like another race out there, like pretty much identical to humans, like living their own lives, you know, had cars and stuff, it would be really bad for us, because that means that the hurdle is in front of us. We have yet to pass it, and we probably won't.
That's interesting. And then there's the whole thing where it's like, well, it's been proven time and time again here on Earth that when two groups of intelligent beings meet with each other, usually one comes with not ill intent, but when they come, bad things happen.
Yeah.
Or they just don't, like, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's like apathy, where it's just like they show up, it's just like, you've killed us. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Right.
You think we're not killing each other, so.
Yeah.
I think it'll be, if we found intelligent life and it turns out like we just didn't see him before for some reason, and then we've only just found him, but we've already made it past the hurdle.
They live on the dark side of Pluto, which is a thing apparently.
Yeah.
We just never saw him.
I don't think it would matter anyway, just because I don't feel like humans are, like the mass populace of humans are capable of coexisting.
Well, no.
Especially if it was with a foreign race from outer space. It's another race from outer space.
Well, I mean, have you seen District 9? That'd probably be how that'd go.
Yeah. it'd be
Isn't
really
that
bad.
messed up though? How the way he frames it is like these aliens come down in a spaceship that is constantly floating over the city, and humans are the the
Bad guys?
the lead species in that sense.
Well, it's
And it's because the race is like
yes.
insectoid.
Yeah,
they don't
they're
have a leader.
insectoid. Yeah, and without a leader, they just do what they're told. So the humans can be like, do this, and they're like, okay.
Was there ever a thing that they explained that?
Well, I think like in the plot of the movie, or the human guy when he's helping out, I forget what his name is, but like it's like there's like the bigger. I think he's one of the leaders. Like he's intelligent. He knows what to do. He's not listening to anybody. He just plays along and he's doing it. Like he's the one who's like, I need to get back to that ship.
And he's playing the part just so nobody notices.
Yeah. So he's just like, oh, I'll cooperate, just so that way he doesn't get raided and his stuff gets taken, so he can't get back to the ship.
Or not drawing enough attention to himself where people are like,
Yeah.
hey, you're looking a little interesting over there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they're on like, and they're like, oh, why doesn't he just like get some of his guys together there and just like leave them? It's just like on the ground they don't have like the firepower. They do, but they don't.
They
You know
don't.
what I
Yeah.
mean? They have like enough to do some damage, but ultimately you're dealing with a planet full of people, whereas it's just this group.
You're colonized in a basically a concentration camp.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot you can do, which is an interesting thing.
It's just like you could take out the guards, but not the army in
Yeah.
the camp.
And it's also an interesting thing to think about within like the spectrum of like the context of that race is like, oh, they probably did like look at that where it's like they realized like, oh, these guys look like a bunch of workers, and there should be some leadership. Why aren't we seeing the leadership? And they're probably expecting like
Well, it's also
some
one
crazy.
Of the,
some-
they also say in the movie too, because at first it wasn't as segregated, and then there's issues with people and like the bug species themselves. They're like, we're gonna put you all in this camp
yeah.
because they have like footage right in the beginning
in
when
a
like,
dump
stuff goes wrong. Yeah.
in a dump. Yeah. And it's just it's interesting to think about like these creatures, and it's like they go up into the ship and they find them for the first time, and it's like, whoa, what are you guys? Maybe they've got a leader, and you're looking around, and they're just not looking for the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're looking for the big insect queen. It's like, well, there was none, so I guess they're leaderless.
Right.
Send them away. Interesting stuff.
Yep.
I actually never watched District 9.
It's pretty good.
It's
All
a really
I know
good
is
movie.
that spoiler alert, that the main guy loses his arm and gets the alien arm or something like that.
Oh, more than that.
More than that.
happens.
Yeah, and then he learns how to shoot alien guns. And then,
Yeah, because their
and
weapons are DNA based. So if you're like a human, you couldn't pick it up and use it. But if you're one of them, that's why he can use it because it's DNA based. And you have
Yeah.
like an alien arm, so you can shoot.
And they start
And-
testing.
And then that's when like the government's like, we want you because you are like a hybrid, and we really want to use their powerful weapons. So
Mhm.
and that's when he becomes a fugitive because he's running from the government who wants to
Yeah.
chop him up.
The weird thing about that, though, is like they use them to test the weapons, and it's like, but you still can't use them. You still can't use those weapons.
Yeah, I mean, if you chop him up, you can't use the weapons. You might as well make
Well, no,
him
they're
the
just
main
seeing
guy.
how like the DNA spliced together, and like, oh, maybe we can replicate that. But also,
Is
I
that-
don't understand. I guess it's just like, oh, it's an alien goo, but like the
Yeah.
fuel source like gets sprayed on him, and that's what like makes him turn into
An
one of
alien.
the, one
It's
of those
weird.
things. And I'm just like, I don't know.
That sounds like an infection.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Well,
they
yeah.
could just go around spraying people with that, and everyone would just become the insect.
Which is
Yeah.
interesting to think
and maybe
about.
and maybe that was like the plan from the jump is you spray that stuff, turn everyone into these insect creatures, and then make them follow a leader.
That would actually
Because that way they wouldn't have to fight anybody. They'd just be like, you are us. And they're like, oh, okay, because that's what they know. But
Dude.
I also don't feel, because I feel like when, spoiler alert, I guess
Spoiler alert.
Ruin this for you. Ultimately, like the human who gets like he just becomes fully one of them. Like he just becomes like a bug creature. But he's still like him. Like he doesn't lose like mentally.
Yeah.
So that probably wouldn't be the case. They probably wouldn't use it as a weapon. Because then you just give the ability to like, yeah, we can use all your powerful weapons now.
yeah.
It's just like we lost our humanity, which is unfortunate. But now
Well,
we are.
we lost our humanity as in like the body.
Yeah, like physically.
Yeah.
But it's just like, all right.
Which is also another interesting thing where it's like like the way you started going down without it is like, yeah, it's an infection. You could basically make a workforce out of that. But then again, it's like, well, you have to be able to conscript the workforce too, which
yeah,
is
it's just like that. I don't know.
then what's the point of like turning him into an alien again? Just
that's also one of those movies where it's just like they set it up where it's just like it doesn't need to have a sequel, but it could, but it also shouldn't. But it kind of like it's very open ended.
Yeah,
the movie where it's just like you kind of want a second movie, but at the same time you're like it's kind of fine with one, but it's still pretty open ended.
Could use like a book or something.
Yeah, interested to see what would happen, but afraid the second one would ruin it.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you only need like a half hour more maybe of storytelling to really answer like the questions left in the first movie.
Maybe a good, you know what?
But it's also like,
Neil's really into the shorts. One good District 9
but now
short
the more
film.
I think about it, I kind of don't want to see what happens. I just kind of like where like it
like,
leaves off in a way.
Well, like going past like the end of the movie, don't really need that. You can assume whatever you want to assume. Like maybe he comes back, picks up everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of just like whatever story you want. Because like I think in the movie he just says that.
Did you hear that?
What's going on?
I know what it sounded like.
That's what they said, isn't it? Did they say that?
What did they say?
Did they say that?
That's what it sounded like. Yes.
Dude, that's what they're.
We can't talk about it.
They're saying yellow Bodak. Bodak yellow. So yes, if you think it's a dirty.
No, I mean no. Oh, maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna do the. I'm gonna do the influxes there, and like you tell me if that's just what you heard. The da da.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Da 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 da.
Yeah. Oh no, they definitely sing that. Oh, this campus sings that all the time. I have a.
What's going on?
I don't.
Right underneath me, who sing Bodak Yellow all the time.
Should I go over there and be like, well, we're recording in here? Like,
I wouldn't mind that.
I'm
And you should probably go with them.
No, I got it.
No, go with them. I want to see. Me and Matt are gonna talk while you go and show the
Yeah,
world.
well, I don't know how I'd feel about him just standing behind him filming. Like, don't do that.
This is a bad idea.
You should bring that camera.
This is a bad.
Well, you walk up next to him. And you don't go in front of the door. You get his reaction. But yeah, I don't know.
I just pointed at the wall while he's talking.
No, you stand at like he's not gonna go in the room. I imagine he's gonna stand there and be like, "Hey guys, we're recording," and you just stand.
I can point. I can be on the side of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happens if someone walks out?
Oh, then it's a, and then you just hold the phone, and you act like nothing's going on. No, you just act like whatever. Who cares? It's 2018. Now they're getting especially loud. It's getting interesting in there.
Oh, anyways, District 9. How about that?
You know what?
What I was gonna say before we start talking about that is towards the end, what it sounds like is, I think the main alien says our ship doesn't have enough fuel or something. I forget what it is. Basically, he's gonna go back up to the ship to make more fuel to take everybody and leave. You know what I mean? Take his people and then leave. It's like, all right, bad.
So it works as like a refinery kind of thing. You're thinking.
Maybe. Well, his problem is like he's collecting bits from like tech and stuff to make that like fuel, just to get a ship from there to the mothership, and then maybe either like turn it on and be like, we're going. I don't know.
Because what everybody assumed from that movie, and the spoiler warning is probably still up there.
It's a really old movie.
It's really old at this point, but like
what
10 everybody
years old or something.
What everybody assumed. I like that explanation. Like he's going into orbit or something just so he can safely make more fuel. But what everybody assumed was he was leaving the planet and going to the home planet.
Yeah,
because that was the big thing.
That could have been. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. It's not streaming anywhere, which is unfortunate.
That's interesting. But it's like he was going to the home planet. People were like assuming like, oh, he's either going to bring back like an army to just do a quick strike and run or something, or he's bringing back another ship to help evacuate.
The one thing I can think of though, especially when watching District 9 and the Landfall Halo short, is man, I wish Neil made that Halo movie because that would have been good. That
Halo movie. For anyone who doesn't know, actually, I think we should just direct him to that Funhouse video because that's a pretty good video.
Yeah. Because, they talk about that in depth. I thought it was a really interesting video.
Yeah. So I'll pop it up on the screen, just like a little clip kind of thing. And
they were recording me.
I told you should have gone.
I walked in there and so I'll give you the business. 'Cause I'm sure you heard them yelling in there again.
Yeah.
I was like, I came knocking on the door and Austin came and answered it. And he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Hey," I walked in. I'm like, "Were you guys just singing in here?" And they're like, "Hey, what's up? Like, what do you need?" I'm like, "Hi." I was just wondering, like, were you guys just like singing in here? And they were like, they all started like cracking up. And I was like, they were like, "Yeah." I'm like, they're like, did you? They're like, "No, we weren't singing." I'm like, "You guys were singing." But they were telling me that okay, so they told me they're singing. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that's what I thought." I'm like, "I just want you guys to know, I'm coming. Like, why? Where'd you hear us?" I'm like, "Oh, over there in the studio. Like, you know, like we're recording, and like you're on air, and we heard it." And like they were like, "Oh my gosh," and I was like, "Yeah." And then they started telling me about the girl who was singing it was also on the table with high heels dancing as well. I guess putting on a real show is how they said it. And I was like, "Oh, all right, okay, wow." And they're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "At least get my 5 seconds of fame." And everyone's laughing, and they were like videotaping me, and I was like, "Okay, all right," but like, I just want to let you guys know, like, I guess like you can be rowdy, like that's not my business, but you are on air, kind of, you know,
Yeah.
pick you up,
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
walls.
I mean, now this story is permanently cemented.
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely is.
I still
No names, no faces.
I still
No
think
names,
you
no
should.
faces.
I still think you should have
Woman,
gone,
no
and
crime.
that audio from the camera would have been totally silent while me and Matt are sitting here ending the District 9 chat, and you're just like talking to them, and they're videotaping you, and you're videotaping
I
them.
think
And
this is
it's,
good imagination.
No,
yeah, good
I-
imagination.
Better keep it up.
In hindsight, it would have been okay, but just walking in there with a camera being like, "Hey, you guys were singing this," that's not okay.
Yeah, I don't think it would look okay.
They were
Anything
cool
for
about it,
content.
of course. I mean, they were neat.
Yeah,
Not anything, but like that wouldn't have
I
like
never
been
Austin, I don't
earth shattering.
No, it wouldn't have been,
But,
but
still, it's a,
I
no, it's
I don't want
invasive.
to. Yeah, I don't want to offend them.
It's
if anything.
invasive to put a video camera in front of someone's face.
Well, I can
Like if
I
SA
can blur
came,
them.
if SA came over here to ask us a question about something, we just yelled at the camera, I'd be like, "What's up? What do you guys need? What's going on?" You know.
I would assume certain actions would happen after the recording, like you'd ask permission
Yeah.
Maybe.
to use my face, or if I saw the footage eventually, they would have blurred my face if they didn't ask for my permission.
Yeah.
And then after that, you have
Blurry
say
face from 21
you can
Pilots.
like you
Then you have
say
to-
things. You can be like, okay, you didn't blur my face. I didn't give you permission. I would like you to take that down, or I will
Blur my
press.
face, distort my voice, and then actually edit me out and put Mickey Mouse in.
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go.
That's
Mickey
my
Mouse-
You must
special
do
request.
this.
That's-
edit me
plan
out
M.
and edit in Pee Wee Herman's commercial about cocaine.
Yes. Don't
Yeah.
do it.
Don't do it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help.
Okay, another movie I'd like to talk about is 10 Cloverfield Lane. I just watched that. It's a good movie. It's a real good movie.
I like it. I went and saw it. I said I went and saw it, but I went and saw it on Hulu in my bedroom.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Same. And the connection over in South was, really lagging. So every 5 minutes it would like freeze
Mhm.
and then buffer, and it was a nightmare. But still a really good movie.
Good movie. Not at all what I thought was going to happen. I was like, because like, I mean, can we talk about it?
Spoiler warning, just in case, because it is relatively
Boop,
new.
boop, boop, boop. If you're looking for spoilers, you've come to the right place. If not, you need to log off right now. But no, okay, so they're in this thing, right? And the dude who you think is just a nut job is talking about how, it's the aliens, stuff like that, blah, blah, using this kind of stuff. And like, he obviously ran that girl off the road, and you find out is a murderer, kinda like low key.
Later on.
Yeah, later on you figure that out. But and that's as she's escaping, and after all the business happens. But then like she gets out of the bunker and gets outside, and like exactly what that dude was describing is happening. Or it's like, oh, the aliens, they're using like chemicals, to kill population, stuff like that. Like, he's like, that's not a U.S. chopper. He's like, that's an alien. And everyone's like, oh, okay, bud. He got out there. He caught everything. He predicted all of it. He was right, 100%.
So there was a whole ARG that I was lightly following when that was coming out, and it was all based around this dude, how he works for this company in the Cloverfield universe that's like kind of tracking all these. They're weirdly connected to all these things. Like in Cloverfield they're weirdly connected to the monster, and in this one, like he was tracking stuff with satellites. It was, strangely enough, his company is owned by this like shadow corporation kind of thing, and everything's weirdly connected. The unfortunate thing about all that stuff, though, is I was still sympathetic to him up till the end, kind of.
Me too.
Because like his whole thing is like his daughter wasn't there, and he didn't have a chance to get his daughter into the bunker. Mm-hmm. He built the second bunker in Chicago for her in case something happened. And there's this whole, you can go to this website where it's like, it looks like a website for like, it looks like a girl's blog or something. And if you click on one of the pictures, it's a coded message that tells this girl, there's a bunker in Chicago. If something goes down, it's open. You go in there and you go hide. And I'm like, oh man, it makes me more sympathetic to him, even up to the end, even though I don't want to be.
Yeah. Because he's obviously like a low-key murderer.
He is crazy. Yeah,
and he didn't mean for the other guy to get in there. That just happened to happen. He really would have meant for him and that girl to get in there. And then it would have been as weird as it was after the other dude left, if you know what I mean.
Left.
I haven't even seen the movie, but I know what left means.
Left in an acid bath.
Okay, yeah. Okay. That happens.
That happens sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
You go dip in the bath. Oops, acid. Oops, all acid.
Oops, all tarantula eggs. That's a meme.
I like the click hole thing where it's like, oh, it's like good news. Like all the spider eggs and Beanie Babies are finally hatching.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh God, what?
But going back to a conversation right before you came back, we were talking about how Neil Blomkamp, who is the director of District 9, Elysium, like Chappie, all those movies.
Ooh, I like Chappie.
He, like a while back, right after like Halo 3, do you remember the live-action Halo 3 Landfall?
Yeah.
Where it's like the ODSTs? He directed that. He was supposed to make a Halo movie, but they bailed on him. They're like, no, we actually don't want to make it.
Peter Jackson, it was all official.
Yeah, and Peter Jackson.
They had
Lord
props. They had props. They were in New Zealand gearing up for this thing.
Yeah, they were ready to go, and they canceled. But another movie that was going to happen, but not anymore, and I wish it did, was Guillermo del Toro was supposed to make a BioShock movie, and that would have looked great.
That would have been
God.
Yeah, well, just like purely on like look and aesthetic alone, it would be perfect.
That's so Guillermo.
Yeah. Like yeah, it's a very weird premise. It would be perfect for him.
Why'd they cancel?
Just because video game movies. They're like, nah, we don't know. We don't know.
But, I mean, Irrational Games isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, I think that had to play with it too, with like licensing and stuff.
Yeah, because they're gone. I mean, I think about it sometimes, and I'm like, how did the dudes who make BioShock get dissolved? Well, just like,
it sucked.
What happened?
Nothing happened. Keep going.
Chandler, did we stop broadcasting?
We stopped broadcasting with a bit. Oh, you've got my phone, and it's all turned off. I'm sure somebody's sending me messages. I'm not getting them.
How long have we been off air for?
Probably a little bit.
Oh no.
I guess.
Welcome back to Cardinal Radio. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed the moment of silence we have for our fallen troops overseas.
We do apologize. We do things a little differently here down on Cardinal Radio.
We do things a little differently.
We pretend broadcast for 30 minutes.
We cold open with something you'll never hear again, and then...
and then let it be dead air for 30 minutes.
Another interesting thing talking about video game movies is Bethesda said that several studios and like people have come to them with scripts saying like we want to do a Fallout movie or TV series, but Bethesda's turned them down because like it's just not good enough. Your script just isn't good enough. It's not strong enough.
It has to be really good, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One thing I do want to...
I want, if they make it... Sorry to interrupt.
No, go.
I want to just pitch in for a second, quick. If they make a Fallout TV show or movie, it has to be true to Fallout. I want paid mods. I want it that when you punch somebody that you shrink down to size they spaghettify. I want you can't kill the kids, obviously. And when you take off their clothes, you can't remove their underwear.
No nudity at all.
No nudity.
Unless you have the nudity mod, but paid for.
Yeah,
paid for. Paid nudity
you need to
mod.
pay for it. Go on, Chandler.
$69.99.
$69.99. Bethesda credit points.
I was going to talk about something else, but the best show, if you ever had one, was Nuka Break.
Nuka Break was okay.
It was pretty good. Pretty good Fallout show.
Good production value. The story was...
Wait a minute. Were we still broadcasting when they were shouting, or did we miss that too?
See, I don't know.
I think I remember. I think I saw numbers on it when that was going on. So
Yeah.
The numbers, what do they mean?
Yeah, I
Reminds me of
can't-
Lost as well. Yeah.
Yogg Sothoth.
Watch the video.
So, no, the other thing I was going to talk about, speaking of Neil, one thing I'm pretty excited for that you kind of brought up was they're thinking about crowdfunding a feature that he has planned that he wants to do based on a short called Firebase.
Yeah, which was pretty neat.
I
Alex,
really,
have you watched
really
Firebase?
want that.
No, I do
happen.
not. I did not do that one. Tell.
You should watch it.
It's just, could you like explain, give him like the gist of it?
Yeah. So basically, what's happening is Neil Blomkamp is making a lot of just proof of
Dude,
Blom.
What else has he
Blomkamp.
done?
District 9,
9,
Chappie.
Oh, okay,
Elysium.
sorry.
So it's
Yeah.
those movies. Like
Yeah.
if they got like the weird future, gritty future kind of thing.
Gritty sci-fi.
Yeah, gritty sci-fi. So the plot of this is because he's doing like in these shorts, they're kind of like Twilight Zone-y kind of
Yeah. Very much
things.
so.
Okay.
He actually had Sigourney Weaver in one of them.
Yeah,
which
Sigourney
is
Weaver
insane.
was in the first one, or in the first short, which was Raka. That one was
Yes,
good.
that one was
But it's just
pretty
one of those things where I'm like, I want to see more. Like
Yeah.
it almost ended too abruptly, where it's just like I have every question.
I have all the questions, but the one that he's thinking about doing it and making into a feature is called Firebase, and it's basically about like it's about it's a story out of Vietnam, the Vietnam conflict,
the war
and yeah,
conflict.
and like stuff is going on. Suddenly, like there's reports coming out of certain places that like this weird entity called the River God is going around, and it's just wrecking shop. And it's
and like are like two dudes go to like investigate, or two like government people, right?
yeah,
What it is?
like they go in to investigate and they find a survivor of one of the attacks, and he's like the only survivor because this thing
Yeah.
is working with the Viet Cong for whatever reason, right?
I guess they pray to him.
Yeah,
That makes
they
sense.
like they're worshiping this thing, and it's getting weird. And they talk to this one dude who survived, and
He's like, it wasn't like a burn victim. He's just
Yes.
terribly burned.
he was burned in an attack, and he was like burned head to toe. But what was weird about that? Like something I know what like he says, but wasn't there something weird about his burns? Like they didn't match up with something, or
Yeah, something like that. It was just like very like they didn't understand what burned them or something like
yeah,
that.
it wasn't like they
It wasn't like, oh, this isn't like a phosphorus burn. It's not like a napalm. It's
nobody
not-
did any flyovers in that area. They were alone, so we don't know how it happened.
Yeah, they don't
but
understand how he caught on fire.
he's telling the story like, yeah, the River God came, and when he comes out, like the River God is basically this dude who manipulates matter to an extent.
Well, like when you first see him, there is like a fire, and like you see him like it's basically someone invisible, but you see like the flames like wrap around him, so it's just like you can tell that someone's there. It's kind of like he's on fire, like
He's covered in napalm.
yeah, he's covered in like napalm, it's like burning around him, but he's invisible. You kind of get like that image, and then he's like
lifting tanks and like
Yeah.
disassembling like tanks, guns, and people. And like when the guy starts, like the survivor starts telling his story, the imagery is like the River God steps out of the forest and he's just covered in meat.
Yeah, he's like
People,
literally wearing like a meat
bones,
battle suit. But it looks
bones
scary.
and crap, and it's
Yeah.
like terrifying. He walks out of the forest, and the Viet Cong are behind him. Sorry, I bumped the mic. And they're like just lighting up all of his dudes, and anybody who gets close to the River God, dead.
Well, isn't it like the short? Like all it is like he turns and he looks at the River God, and the River God like looks at him, and he has like this crazy vision.
Yeah.
Where he's at like an air base.
He's at an American air base
Yeah, he's
in
at an American air base.
in Pennsylvania, I think,
Yeah, so it's in the States.
in the States.
like
and
it's
it's
like
like
it says that like a little like
yeah,
something,
yeah. It's
okay.
like I was, yeah. He's like I was at, no, maybe he was like at Nellis or something. He's like
Yeah.
I was in Nellis, I was back at Nellis. It was totally. I lived a day, and we were getting attacked by the Soviets, and they were flying in these weird MiGs, and it's like it's showing like these MiG-looking jets come flying into this airbase, but they go vertical.
Yeah,
I keep hitting the mic. They go vertical and land like this and turn into like turrets, and they start like shooting like weird flames out and burning everyone at the airbase. And there's like a huge like land ship tank the size of like a skyscraper rolling across with like the Soviet markings on it. And he's like, "We got attacked, man. What happened? What happened with the attack?" And he's talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just like what happened here, and basically like it kind of like it shows him like I guess snap out of the vision. He's in the jungle, it's like on fire.
He's on fire because one of those flamethrowers nicked him.
Like hits him, and like it shows him at the base, and he's like on fire, and he hits like the ground, and I think he rolls over, and then it cuts to him like back in like the jungle, and he's just on fire.
He's on fire, and he's running into the river, and there's some there's a patrol going by that find him, and it's like
and that's where like like the stories link up. And it's just like, what is this?
Yeah, what's going on?
What am I watching? It looks really interesting.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, but what Neil Blomkamp has done is has this independent studio now called Oat Studio.
Dude is spending money like a...
Yeah, he's just
like
wasting money at this point. I guess he's saved up a lot. And he's like making these really cool just like short films like this. They're like 20 to 30. I think Firebase is like 30 minutes long. But like the first one we put out was like Raqqa, and it's like a post-apocalyptic like alien invasion where it's like the humans are the resistance. Think of like Terminator, but with aliens. You know what I mean? How like it's like that. And Sigourney Weaver's in it. If you don't know, she's like the chick from
Ripley.
Alien.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like they have like a big name actor, and it's like a 20 to 30 minute like thing, and he's just like making these like really cool like.
How much is he getting off
films.
views?
Not as much as he's putting into it, and that's the thing. But he said that like enough people were interested in the Firebase thing, they're going to make it a feature-length film that'll be crowdfunded.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is that why he's doing them? Like he's maybe he has these ideas, or people are presenting.
Yeah, but basically he's like making like public like ideas to hopefully get picked up and turned into movies. This is what he's doing. He's just like, check these out.
But he's putting so much work into them.
Right. But like the idea is rather than pitching it directly to a studio, he puts it out in the open, and the studio can see that people are like, this is really cool. I want to watch this movie.
Basically the Deadpool dilemma with Fox, where it's like that footage got out and people are like, well, that's the movie I want to see. And Fox is like, really? Oh, okay.
Really?
And then they made
we'll order 10 of them.
Yeah, make 5, and then we'll have another 5 after that, and then we'll see what happens after that.
We'll team up with Taco Bell, get chimichangas in there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because
You give me 2 number 1s, a number 5,
number 9, extra dip,
extra cable.
extra cable.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I hope that the Firebase gets crowdfunded when it needs to.
I'll
I'm
donate
also
$1 to that.
I'm also like curious of like how much they're gonna ask for to make that.
a couple million.
2 mil.
2 million? I think so, but like that's really cheap for any movie. You know what I mean? Like it's like crowdfunded. You're just like wow, a lot of people came together to make 2 million. Even like small budget like sci-fi movies are like $20 to $30 million.
He's doing something weird though, where it's like he can't be spending a lot of money on these short films, but they look immaculate.
Yeah, they look like a movie. Like you know what I mean? Well, like the way like I would never consider like his effects like subpar, but they're not like super like shiny like a Transformers. They're more like gritty in that way, and I guess in a way they look cheaper, but it's just like it to me it looks. I guess this is more how he films it. It just looks grittier.
He uses it like instead of like, oh, look at this crazy effect. He melds it very well.
Yes,
he does a very good.
He almost like he films it like it's almost like half like found footage. Like it's very handheld. You know what I mean? There's not like too much editing to the video and stuff like that. Either that, or it's just like a simple like color overlay that he puts to a video.
Firebase has less of that, which I can appreciate.
Yeah,
just
Firebase is more traditional. It's like still.
Except for that attack scene.
Yeah.
Something about that, like that attack scene would be an example of like, here the effects are a little bit less, but the way it's shot, it just works.
Yeah. Well, going back to District 9, District 9 is shot like half like a documentary because they have like interviews of people where they sit down, you know what I mean? There's like talking. Kind of like The Office, you know what I mean? Like those reality shows, they come and they sit down, they like talk about it. like there's like a documentary being made, and the other half is just like the movie. We were just visited by a boy.
By a ghost.
By a ghost.
By a boy ghost.
Actually, in District 9, a lot of people don't know this. The cameraman who was making the documentary never leaves that guy's side. He's actually there the entire time.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. And then in the end, when they're like, "Well, we don't know what happened to him," and they're showing footage of the guy.
Well, it's not like the documentary dude's going to be like, okay, see you later, jumps off the ship, or whatever happens at the end, because I don't actually know. He's obviously going to go live in outer space with the bug people.
And make one crazy documentary, win
Dude.
every Oscar.
Yeah, and he's going to come back 80 years in the future, because, of course, time is a lot different when there's less gravitational force.
Well, we figured this out when watching that new Godzilla
You need to
anime.
watch Interstellar soon, but you're gonna be gone a drill.
Yeah.
You
I'm not
fool.
looking forward to it.
You darn fool.
I have a concert to go to tomorrow. And it gets like, yeah, I know. But I got it for it was like a present for Christmas, so I have to go to it. And drill.
It's also like, oh, I have to go to it. You're going to, what is it, Modern Jukebox, Postmodern Jukebox,
Yeah.
whatever. It is.
Postmodern.
Oh
Jukebox.
yeah, I hate you.
Oh, are they good?
Yeah, I love Postmodern Jukebox.
I never listened to it before.
Oh, it's so good. It's like modern songs, but like
Made like 1940 style.
yeah, done with like a big
Well,
band.
That sounds really cool.
And
Yeah,
stuff,
like
and
if you ever
classic
heard
singers.
like Gorillaz, like Clint Eastwood or anything.
Yeah,
like that,
I
where
play them all the time on the dark side. Used to.
Yeah, we don't. I was gonna ask actually. I was like, do we do music breaks anymore ever?
Not really. We kind of just talked the whole way, and that's fine. But no, I'm going to see them, and to get out at 10, and then I have to drive from Detroit to Battle Creek for 2.5 hours. I get there about midnight, and I have to get up at like 6, and it's gonna be bogus. Oh, Chandler, my supply sergeant, by the way, for that thing you wanted us to do for the advertisements, he wants all of my Papper gear. So I was gonna be like, I can grab the gas mask this weekend, but I can't anymore.
Oh well.
Oh well. But yeah, moral of the story is the documentary guy got lost in space, and now he's just wandering the cosmos by himself in a gorilla suit, filming stars.
He's making a sweet movie though, even though the battery died a long time ago and his memory card's full.
Yeah, he's also just dead, floating in space, frozen,
A dead man
in a gorilla suit.
in a gorilla suit.
No one thought I got it.
So anybody got anything else?
What are we talking about before that? Firebase.
Firebase, yeah. It's going to be hopefully eventually crowdfunded into a full movie, which I really want to see, and I'm excited to see that. The thing I'm thinking though is like, it'll be a Rooster Teeth situation. Like Laser Team probably cost more than $2 million, but they got $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking,
Well, no, because like they said they had like we have this much to spend on it, and we need this much more, and then they got the $2 million. They're like,
yeah.
cool, thanks.
Well, it's like they had investors.
It's like they had $1 million, we need another $1 million, and they got $2 million. So like, cool, we have $3 million, we can make a
Which
movie.
I assume is like how Neil's going to shoot for is like, well, listen, I've got $2 million. I really need like $5 million. If you guys could front $3 million, and hopefully like that would set the bar low enough where like people jump in with $4 million somehow.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, yep, good movie coming in. In
Honestly,
4 years.
I don't feel like asking to crowdsource $5 million is actually a big deal.
3. It's only 3.
But even if it was like 5, if like, 1 million people donate $5,
You're good.
you're good.
Yeah.
So if like the population of New York gave you a portion of the population of New York gave you $5
A piece.
a piece.
No, just they collectively gave you $5.
What horrifying social commentary, though. I really want to see Firebase. Me and like 1 million other people are going to give him $5. Oh, there's people suffering in the world. That's sad.
I mean, yeah.
It's a horrible social commentary.
but
But it's one of those things though where it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes like when you donate money, you're like,
You
I
don't
guess
see it.
You don't see it exactly, or it's just
In Firebase, I'm going to see my $5 bill burning, floating across the screen. But darn it, I'm going to be excited to see it.
If they get like wide release in theaters, I think that's how it was for like Laser Team. they're gonna have one with long credits. So they'll put like all like the names of the people who donated.
Oh yeah, that was rad. Sitting through that and seeing all the credits roll by of all those people who helped out. That was pretty
Right.
cool. But it makes that movie endlessly long.
True.
The other thing I'm excited for in the way of like movies that kind of feel like indie movies, I'm excited for the next Cloverfield movies coming out.
Whenever they come.
Well, like there's one. So the scenario now with Cloverfield, Alex, I'm gonna fill you in just because. J.J. Abrams is basically playing it like the Twilight Zone. They're all contained in like the same universe, different timelines.
Okay.
So like 10 Cloverfield Lane has a lot of related materials, different kind of timeline. Like the first Cloverfield didn't happen in that timeline, but all of like the things exist somehow. Interdimensional travel or something like that.
Okay.
They're setting up for like something pretty cool, I guess. So the next one that's coming out, and this is all speculation based on information that's come out, like people who know people and people who are like, well, JJ has been pondering over this script a lot, and it's gone into production, and all the descriptions of the production, because you kind of have to put that stuff out there when people are working, are like this script in particular, and I've read part of it, and it's like the next Cloverfield movie, which could come out at any time, because it sounds like they're not going to advertise it. They're just going to put it out somehow.
Oh, like you're just gonna go to the movie store one day and it's just gonna be on a shelf, like in a leather-bound box.
Dude, that was practically like with 10 Cloverfield Lane. They didn't really advertise. It was just suddenly it was coming. And that's...
No, yeah, I saw the ads, like, actually on Hulu, I think I was watching something, and like it's like 10 Cloverfield Lane, like coming in next week.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, whoa.
Well, and then I think that's what JJ wants is like he wants the name of the movies to like kind of push like, oh, you're gonna get a good adventure out of them. So the next one that's coming out based on speculation, pure speculation, it's going to be something along the lines of this shadow company that exists in all the movies called Tegaruto is developing an energy source.
Ooh, what does Tegaruto mean?
I don't know, but it's Japanese.
Okay.
It's-
The first time you said it at first, and I was like, ooh, Spanish, spicy. I don't know why.
It's spicy.
I instantly thought of like terracotta,
Which is not
which is Chinese. But I mean, like I thought. Okay, you said. Say it again.
Tegaruto.
You said Tegaruto. I thought terracotta as with the word, and then instead I thought of like the ziggurat pyramids of like the Aztecs, but like the Cinco de Mayo like kind of candy skull. I was like, ooh, spicy. I don't know why. Like I made all those connections instantly.
I mean, not gonna fault. No fault.
Your mind took a path.
You
and
went-
went down it.
Oh, it
was
went down.
full effect.
Look, that's how my mind goes. Like it misinterprets and then creates a world based off the misinterpretations. But go on.
Anyways, no, that's interesting to think.
Yeah.
Super interesting. So, anyways, like the story that's going around based on because like 10 Cloverfield Lane existed as a script forever. Like that was handed around Hollywood forever as like the basic story of like they're in the bunker. And then, what's her face? Spoiler alert, leaves the bunker. And that was it. That was the story. But J.J. Abrams is like, oh, this would be great for Cloverfield. So throw in like the little tidbits we need to make it part of Cloverfield, and it's a good story. The one that should be coming out soon, to be honest, because they've got 2 ready to go. It's something about Tegaruto is developing a new energy source from somewhere. Don't know where. It just came out of nowhere.
Hell.
Probably. That's what I'm thinking. It's almost like a Doom plot.
If they're doing like interdimensional stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, hey, thermal energy from hell.
Yeah, something like that.
We are now harvesting demon blood.
Hope it doesn't resurrect a giant monster that attacks New York or an alien invasion.
The monster that attacked New York in Cloverfield, it was New York, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess those are actually what in the lore like prehistoric beings, and there's like the one that we saw was a baby.
For the love of God, you say that, like, you think, oh, that thing's an infant. J.J. Abrams said that in an interview once, and I think what he was trying to get at is it's an alien stumbling around a new place and it's being attacked. It doesn't know what's going on, and it's just an animal being attacked. That's what I think they were trying to get at.
I saw a video about it.
Because I don't think a thing could be millions of years old and still be an infant.
No, like it only just hatched. Like I think the thing that I saw was like a video, and like they went like around the ocean. And there's more eggs down there of that thing waiting to hatch or something. Because it went back into the water, didn't it? Wasn't that like this dick?
That's all up to theory still. They never explained it, and I still don't know if it's like all part of the thing. What, did we lose video?
No. I actually know a lot of lore about Cloverfield, like the original Cloverfield monster, the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
The
Clover.
Yeah, Clover. It was underneath the mining rig that what was the company again?
Tageruto. There's actually some. Have you seen the footage?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Underneath the
neat little
Tageruto
thing.
Company, and this is the thing. The Tageruto company also is the manufacturer of a slushie.
Slusho.
that you see all over the film, and they also had a ton of websites for the like technical advertising or like the mysterious background. Like this is how you got all the lore for Clover, by the way.
The ARG.
Yeah, you had to go into all these little like websites and subsections, and this was really cool stuff back in the day. Because like when Cloverfield,
2008.
yeah, so it's like before everyone was into the internet. It was like
10 years old.
back in my day. Anyways, so that's where the Cloverfield monster originally starts. It got waken up by
An oil rig.
by an oil rig. They were just looking and like trying to get like whatever this ooze was coming from this monster. Pretty much, they didn't know this was a monster, by the way. They just thought it was like a mining like mineral that they found. No, it was a monster, and then later that's like how it woke up.
That's the assumption.
That's the assumption, but it was definitely asleep for a long time. So it either is prehistoric or it showed up.
Yeah.
Either interdimensional or whatever.
Well, here's the thing about that. So the next movie is about like the theory is it takes place at first. It's gonna be like we found this energy source and it's gonna change everything. Smash cut to the future or something like that, and it's about these astronauts on a space station, and the Earth disappears.
Ooh. Dude, if I was in that situation, I would. Well, actually, I just assume it was my fault.
You're in the space station, and
I'd just be
you're
like-
out. You're looking out the window, and the Earth just whoop, gone. You're like,
I'd
oh,
be
what
like,
did I do?
I'd just be like, Houston? Am I getting anything? I'll like radio someone else on the station, like, hey, is the Earth gone? Like, yeah. Like, is there a carbon monoxide leak? No, I think we've gone insane. Like, it must be us, because the Earth does not just... Are they still orbiting, or are they just rocking off?
That's
That's a big thing.
That's the thing, yeah.
If they just start drifting, the Earth's gone. But if they're still rotating, the Earth is still there. It's just on the astronauts. Astronauts? Listen,
The astronauts.
the
I like
astronauts in Space Castle, it's all on their side.
That sounds like a great
you know
premise or
what?
something. The astronauts in the space castle.
You know what that's gonna...
Astronauts not in the Space Castle, but in Space Castle.
Alex,
In space castle.
I'm when the movie comes out, I pray to God that's what they call everything. It's like Space Castle. And like one guy jokes like, "Oh, we're the astronauts. I'm gonna be Alex."
I'm like, they listen to our radio show.
JJ,
But
bring us to movie.
I like to think the way the astronauts discover it is that they're sitting there and they like looks like Earth's not there. And he kind of like looking around. He goes, "All right, there's the sun. There's the moon. There's Mars."
He's like, where did it go? He's just kind of like looking around. And I mean, like, if he's still orbiting, then it's got to be on his side. If the Earth is still there, there's just some kind of troubleshooting thing he's got to do.
He walks up to the window.
He's like, I mean, I'm thinking about like what I would do in that situation.
No.
If I shut off, I'd be like, yeah, Earth is gone. But if I'm still orbiting and the moon's still orbiting something and like everything else looks fine, I would
just
kinda
facing the wrong way. What's going on?
Yeah, I kind of just be like, if I was like looking out the window like this, I look back like writing a letter, I look back up, it's gone. I'd be like, where'd it go? And like looking out the windows and stuff. And like if I'm still going, I'm just gonna be like, I'm just insanity. I've just lost my mind. Like that's all it is.
I'm interested to see in like what it actually is, but that's like the theory of like that's the script they chose.
I want to see. Yeah, I'm really interested in how they're gonna.
and
play
how
with
it's like
that.
how it's included in Cloverfield. Like how does that work? But like the one I'm really interested in seeing is the fourth one, which from my understanding is done. Lord knows when they're gonna release it, but it's called, the working title right now is Overlord, and it's about,
Speaking of hell.
yeah, speaking of hell, which really, that's what made me think, like, well, maybe this is a Doom situation, like everything's just coming out of a portal from somewhere. But, like, Overlord is going to be about the invasion of Europe in 44, and
World War II, that jazz.
in World War II, and this company of U.S. soldiers who stumble across a Nazi experiment going on, and some crazy stuff goes on, like when they find this place, and like I'm assuming demons and like the alternate dimension kind of thing going on. I'm excited to see that.
This
one.
sounds like very Doom, very Wolfenstein.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, the kind of sounds like
Oh,
Wolfenstein.
and-
Nazi zombies.
And then another piece of lore that somebody put out. Oh, but another piece that somebody put together was like the official founding date of Tagaruto in like all the universes is 1945. So like people are
This
assuming
was
it's
a
like
year after all that stuff
Yeah.
happened.
So
Overlord like leads to the
Terracotta is Hydra, but in Monster World.
in dimensional monster world.
Terracotta, led by the infamous Captain Szechuan, the greatest Chinese general.
Yeah, of course.
He's looking for the Szechuan sauce energy source under the Atlantic
No.
Ocean,
Szechuan
but he finds a
sauce-
monster.
Szechuan sauce.
is named after Captain Szechuan.
We should do the cat.
This is what happens. Okay, so Hitler goes back in time. How can he win this war? He's losing this war. Oh, he knows. Get Captain Szechuan, greatest general of the Chinese army, greatest general ever lived. Goes back in time, grabs Captain Szechuan, rips him through time. Right? Has severe consequences. And the severe consequences are yet to be determined. We don't know them yet. But anyways, Hitler dies. We all know the outcome of World War II. Who takes over Terracotta? Captain Szechuan, greatest general of the Chinese army. And then from there, it goes into the other stuff that we
man out of time.
I'm a man out of time. I'm out of time.
So I need you to put together a few puzzle pieces, otherwise the theorist will be annoyed. How does 10 Cloverfield Lane and the one about the Earth disappearing fit into that?
Into that? Okay, so
Into that, okay.
Clover, it's honestly, how did you not pick up on this already, Chandler? Easy peasy. So Cloverfield, of course. Captain Szechuan was he heard tell that Szechuan sauce was erupting from the ocean, and he was like, I'm not having that biz. That's my biz. Found out interdimensional monster. Pokes it with a stick, it wakes up, and then we all know what happens after that.
Movie about it.
He prompts it to attack the capitalist scum, and it goes over there, ruffles their feathers and stuff, right? Okay. And then he's like, okay, this has been fun in this dimension. Better head over to the next one. I heard there's some Szechuan over there too, right? Or like whatever. So he goes to the next one, which is of course 10 Cloverfield Lane. And in this one though, he tries to market terracotta products to the Outer Rim worlds, and they weren't. See, they're all socialists, and they didn't like that he switched from his previous form of governing terracotta to advanced hypercapitalism.
This isn't regular capitalism. It's advanced hypercapitalism.
Terracotta.
So
Got it.
yeah, but from terracotta, and so they were like, "Whoa, bro, back! Why don't you step off?" And he's like, "Dog,
Back
you don't
it
even
up.
you don't even know me, bro." He's like, "I was recruited by Hitler," and and of course, the aliens retaliate to his shade by attacking planet Earth, and then we know.
But
what
Captain
happens after
Szechuan
that.
also adopts one of the aliens as his trusty companion, which he names Terracotta, and the only words that the alien can say are terracotta.
Terracotta.
So terracotta, what do you think? Terracotta, terracotta.
Terracotta.
Excellent.
Very good. I was thinking the same thing. So, as you can see, this obviously transitions straight into the next movie, where he goes back in time to try to prevent the aliens from disrupting his planet Earth that he's grown to love so much by just removing Earth from that timeline and putting it somewhere else. Bada bing, bada boom.
And then it goes to Overlord to explain everything.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you. You've explained. JJ is going to be so jealous and mad when he realizes you
really, I've done him a service. I've really connected the dots. I feel like
You really paved the way for him.
Yeah, I really paved the way. You're welcome.
You wrote
JJ.
these movies for JJ. He's going to be so happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about it.
At JJ.
At JJ Abrams. Hey, guess what we...
Long tweet, though.
So, I put on the footage of the oil rig that they made back in 2008. I don't remember seeing this, but it apparently existed.
Zoom, enhance. Zoom, enhance. Zoom, enhance.
It's just pixels.
Zoom, enhance. It's pixels, but like it just breaks up into more pixels. Like the image doesn't get any clearer. You can just see that there's like just more lines. Zoom, telling like a man, like a sweaty face. Zoom, enhance. Zoom, enhance. Zoom, enhance. It's just like, and then all of a sudden like a high resolution image pops up, and he's just like, "We've got it.
We gotta make this video."
Yes, please.
Man, just like zoom, enhance. I'm like,
And
just tapping the button. I got two buttons on the keyboard. Zoom and enhance.
It's just Alex is getting sweatier and sweatier, and Matt's getting sweatier and sweatier.
Like, it's the room Key and Peele where it's like water is pouring down my face. Like zoom, enhance.
And they're sitting there like hitting the keyboard buttons, like looking up at Matt. Like, we
Like,
can't go deeper.
We're trying to solve like some murder, and like it's like zoom, enhance, and then like it gets to just like I am the murderer. Like we've got it.
We've got it.
It's written in his DNA.
Don't steal that idea. I'll be really upset.
I'll be
It's
upset
funny.
too. We're making that.
Yeah, we're gonna make that. Dude.
Oh, this is Clover kills these Japanese people.
Oh, those poor Japanese people.
They've endured enough.
Oh, shoot! There's stuff coming out of the ocean. Oh, shoot!
Rocket ships going back up to terracotta.
Oh, shoot!
You guys can describe anything right now.
Oh man! Oh no!
Okay, so
Oh, there's stuff!
what we've got is we had it looked almost like a fishnet to me. It looks like the monster was trying to catch people by geysering fishnets from his fishnet receptors out of the ocean waters above the surface and then plummeting back down to the water's tensionless surface, right? So they come down crashing, breaks tension immediately, and they sink. You know, so that's I think what he's trying to do is he had those nets with the big weights and it catches all the Japanese people so that he can eat them for
Because
later.
we all know that's the Japanese one weakness. Nets.
Nets.
Did I mention the slushy stuff that they use for the slusho? If it's not consumed at exactly like the degrees of like a slushy, it makes you go insane. And there's a plot point.
Oh,
there's a plot point where there's a guy who is on the oil rig, who sends that stuff to his girlfriend to go ahead and prove that they're doing something shady here, that there's something going on
And-
way more. And then
Is
she
Slusho
eats
like the sludge?
slush stuff and goes insane and dies. So the only evidence of Clover actually existing before and like getting that out to the public and stuff, wasted because she ate the Slusho stuff and went insane and died.
Oh, and that company is actually the company that the dude in Cloverfield, like, he's going to Japan and stuff. He's going to work for Terracotta.
But
Wow.
the
So-
most evil company.
And
I
Did you
hate
hear about-
pottery.
Did-
Terracotta.
did you hear about the manga,
Yes.
the Cloverfield manga that they made, where he actually attacks Japan somehow?
Why?
I don't
Why does
know.
Japan?
Godzilla's
Why are all monsters mad at Japan? Is it anime? Do all monsters don't like anime?
They explain it.
Confirmed.
They explain it in the Godzilla movies. Japan is just cursed.
What did they do? What sealed their fate? Where they're like, "You are dirt. You are damned to eternal."
The atom
Destruction.
bomb. It's all the atom bomb, and it's America's
They didn't
fault.
do-
No, it's all
What?
it's all America's fault because monsters love atom bombs, and they're like, "Oh, you guys taste like radiation for some reason."
You're like, hey, delicious.
Ah, you're seasoned.
Have you guys seen like the crazy weird like ghost lore and stuff that Japan has?
Like
They got
the
some spooky stuff.
like the inanimate objects that come to life if you don't pay attention to them.
stuff like that.
That's what Toy Story is based on.
They have that. They have like what they used to do when they build castles is the weakest cornerstone. They just keep like burying people there until like the spirits were pleased. So like I forget what castle it is, but one of the cornerstones is built like entirely on human corpses.
Oh.
Himeji?
Yeah, I think it was actually Himeji. But some big important castle. Like
That's a lot.
If a cornerstone won't take, they're like the spirits aren't pleased. Kill people, put them in the ground.
A cornerstone's really big, by the way. Anybody who knows what a cornerstone is?
Yeah, that's a lot of
Like,
stuff.
That's a large amount of human corpses.
Oh, actually, the Great Wall of China is considered the largest grave in the world.
Yeah,
That's true,
because there's
yeah.
so many people that just,
Because
die in the
that's
middle
all
of it.
built on top of people as well.
They just like if you
Yeah.
stopped working, it was
Yeah.
like, well, just
Yeah, you go on top of it.
Usually, you worked and then you died
Yeah.
working because you were just over.
well, that's when you
exhaustion.
stop working.
Great
Yeah.
foundry.
Of course, the construction of that wall was led by none other than China's greatest general, Captain Szechuan, who lived for 8,000 years.
8,000 years.
8,000 years.
That's what the Bible says.
That's what the Bible says.
And he brought on all he brought monsters, aliens, and slushies that drive you insane.
Yeah.
That confuzzled.
He even made He even made Microsoft.
Microsoft.
And microtransactions.
And
Minor
and,
microtransactions.
and terracotta.
Terracotta.
Confuzzled was there.
Oh, that's the logo for the thing. That's the terracotta, terragugu.
Dude,
Look
look at
Count
that!
Dooku.
Look at that emblem. If that doesn't look like an emblem that's trying to convince me that the world is round, I don't know what is. Okay, listen. Okay, so I've read something
Explain to the
recently.
people that can't see.
Okay, so
I'll pop the logo
There's a world
up, but
right there.
yeah, go ahead and do it.
There's a world right there.
I'm gonna Photoshop it. I'm gonna Photoshop it into it.
it's right here. Okay, so what we've got in the emblem is it's a big circle, right? And it's got like the little Japanese sun rays, and in the center is like this big red ball, and it's got arms like this, almost as though the big red ball looks a bit like a sun, almost as if though they're praising the sun. But that's not a good thing because I'll tell you why. Though everyone knows the Earth is a flat disk with the Earth dome, and it's suspended in animation on 4 pillars of
Matt,
creation.
are you trying to get out of the frame?
It's suspended in animation with 4 pillars of creation.
Not used to being filmed.
And everyone knows that the universe is geocentrical, with Earth in the middle, and that we're the most important thing ever created, and that's just irrefutable. Now, what the modern world would have you believe, all this media is worshiping their sun god, is that we're heliocentric. First of all, we're round. What? If we're round, what's holding us up? Where are the pillars going? That's what I want to know. It doesn't make any sense, dog.
No, dude.
Home slice?
You've got it all wrong. Well, not all wrong. Earth is a flat disk dimension being carried upon a turtle's back in space. You dingus.
but
We've
been to the moon.
Stephen King joke for you.
yeah.
Compromise.
How does he explain the moon though? Like going to the moon.
Like the universe itself is being carried upon the tortoise's or turtle's back. Turtle.
Oh.
So like the whole dimension is being carried upon a turtle's back. It's very strange.
Yes, it is.
Super space turtle.
Yeah, that sounds nuts.
And like the turtle is the protector of people, and like Pennywise is like basically the being of destruction and terror.
There's butterflies.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's also butterflies, but like the turtle is the symbol of peace. Like he's the being of peace. He just creates things. Pennywise is like the destructor.
Was it kind of like decided that like everything that happens in the Shining book and movie is kind of Pennywise doing his thing?
I mean, I guess yeah, you could say. Basically, if you could say that Pennywise is the cause of everything bad, if you really wanted to.
It's a pretty blanket statement, but sure.
Well, because you can say like Pennywise. That's not his name. That's just like the clown's
Yeah,
name.
it's
That's
just
like
what he
that
got, yeah.
form.
He's got an actual name.
He does. It's just,
What is it?
It's weird and odd.
Yeah.
He's really, I mean, technically, he's a shapeless being.
Yeah, he's essentially the devil.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like Pennywise is one of the forms, and it's the one we commonly most know as. Like, oh, the clown, that's
Yeah.
evil.
But he kills people inside this weird spider form.
Yeah,
What's
I don't
this?
know about that.
It's just all the monster sightings from Cloverfield.
Oh, I thought this was Pennywise.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought those
Is
were
that Pennywise's name in video form?
yes, Cloverfield. It all connects.
Oh, it all connects.
It all connects. We're all connected.
Dude, I remember when everybody gave this flack because it looked like 9/11.
I mean,
I mean, it happened 7 years afterwards.
Yeah. Listen, at some
If it was
point,
like
But-
2002, it'd be like, or maybe too soon. 2008.
It was that one, and it's only like the one scene everybody freaks out about where it's like the monster does knock down a pretty tall building and it creates a dust cloud, and that's what people freak out
That's
about.
what
Does
happens.
he break 2 buildings?
He
That
actually
are very tall and
And
next to
shows-
each other.
And shows with the calculations, these means can't have my steel beams.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
like
It's carved-
It shows
it's
like the
carved
beams
in-
being ejected
No.
out. Like that wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
It's-
like
it's-
glasses on.
it's actually carved into a building. He like writes it in a building with a claw, and it's in Japanese.
Bush did.
Yeah.
yeah, he lets us know. Everyone knows that Terracotta put Bush
I-
in charge.
I watching this little like I'm still so annoyed with the found footage.
Yeah.
Like it's just this.
And then like JJ goes from making this with Matt Reeves, and then he makes Super 8, and it's like, why couldn't we get that with this? You know, that would have been cool.
No,
That would have been
Super 8 was
cool.
good. In a way, you could say that Super 8 was the Stranger Things before Stranger Things.
Actually, I have a
Basically,
theory.
you could say that like E.T. though.
I have a theory. Super 8 also takes place in the Cloververse, the Kelvin station.
Oh yeah, like the gas station you said.
Yeah, and it's all that is like JJ wanted to put his dad's name, like surname, in, or not his dad's surname, maybe his mom's surname or something.
Probably, because he
in
would
the-
probably have his dad's
Right.
surname. Well, maybe not.
I can't. I gotta like listen to what it was again. But it's like he wanted somebody's name in the shows. He even put it in Star Trek. That's the ship in the beginning that gets destroyed. It's the
I
USS
don't think I
Kelvin.
ever saw the first Star Trek. I only saw the second Star Trek. Never saw the third. Never saw the first.
That's probably for the best.
I saw like some of the first one, but not enough to like really be like, oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
No, I saw like
The second
5
one
minutes
was
of it.
good enough on its own.
We're talking about all this jazz, and now all I want to do is go somewhere scary, do something scary, or watch something scary.
Time to record something.
We can't record. We can't record. Enhance. Right
zoom,
now.
enhance, zoom, enhance.
Zooming in like on a body, and this is he did.
That happens in the first Blade Runner. Now that I think about it, the zoom, because he's sitting
Oh
there.
my
and he's
God,
sitting,
yeah.
He's just like
Zoom,
we see like the
enhance.
quadrants. He's like,
Yeah.
or it's like, and it's like blurry, and it's like, and then it's there. Yeah, because he's just sitting there. And he's like, dude, he's doing voice commands like quadrant, like
Quadrant 6B. Zoom. Enhance.
Yeah, like that's exactly what he's
Zoom.
doing, but it's not as
Enhance.
intense.
Zoom, enhance, zoom, enhance. I'm like, this tapping like 2 buttons.
I feel like
There's
I
some button
I
in
feel
the
like somehow if
enhance
you could
button.
make like a wheel system, and there's just like a zoom
Oh look, it's the
wheel and
it's the
an enhance wheel,
VisFX
like-
for Cloverfield. Look at that. They do the things.
Wow.
That's visual effects.
They're just showing the behind the scenes of the visual effects.
He's tired. See, he was yawning. It was Alex. Alex and the monster were synced for a second. Oh.
Alex is cool.
Those are some dead people.
They call me Alex. They call me Mazzoni. That's not my name because I'm actually the monster from Cloverfield. And my name is Clover. And I like long walks through the middle of New York.
That was good.
That was pretty good.
Hi, I'm Godzilla. I like long walks through highly populated areas.
I like long, destructive walks through highly populated
This is also a
areas.
good video idea. If you had to make up a.
Oh, I'll get you guys. You guys give me the voice acting. I'll bring in the kaiju's.
Oh, hey, Chandler. I forgot to tell you. This is gonna be for pilot plays. I got that one bird dating simulator.
Hatful boyfriend.
Had a full boyfriend.
You got Hatoful boyfriend?
I
He did.
bought it. Yeah.
My God.
So,
Yes,
We've
yes.
got a bird dating.
Have you played any more Doki Doki Literature Club?
No, it's taking too long.
Don't you have to like reset everything after a while?
For Doki Doki Literature Club?
Yes.
I don't know. I've only played for I've been playing for like 2 hours and it's still dating sim. And
Oh.
I'm just waiting for the
Like
good
at that
part to
point,
kick in.
you should hit some of the meat of the game.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going on the only dating sim.
You can't read, right? That was the whole thing.
Yeah, like maybe.
Stop trying to read.
Maybe if you maybe if
Just
you
click
select everything
frantically.
the right way, it's a dating sim.
That'd be
It's just-
crazy.
it's
Like if
a-
we do
You-
nothing
You
wrong,
played
nothing
it
bad.
like you had like a perfect run like the first time and you
Is
didn't
it-
know what you were doing. You're like, this is what I would do. And it's,
It's
just
like
like, oh, okay.
you win.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, good job. First
Could you
night.
imagine if you played like Until Dawn, but like you saved everybody the first time, just like on accident? You're like,
No.
like everyone like lives. You're like, that's it, and you like look at everyone else's like let's plays. You're like, wait a minute, I did it.
You had to have such good of a hunch because there's no way. You'd be like,
Oh yeah, because there's certain stuff that like
What's
what-
Until Dawn?
You don't know what Until
you
Dawn
do
is?
know what it is. It's like the
The butterfly effect.
yeah, it's like the butterfly effect. You just like make choices. It's kind of like set up like a horror movie. There's the Wendigos.
I've never heard of this game.
I know what we're playing next.
Yeah, is it on Xbox? I think it's only a PS4 game.
Ah,
Is it on PC?
It
Maybe.
might be. Look that up.
maybe.
Research.
Research.
Chandler, enhance.
Zoom, enhance, zoom, enhance.
Sweat pouring
zoom.
down.
I wanted to start like this. You know, it's a zoom, enhance. I'm just like
No,
zoom.
and then as
Enhance.
as it gets closer, like he sees something but nobody else does.
He's like, oh my god. He's like, zoom,
Zoom,
enhance, zoom, enhance. I'm like, ah, let's tap in or like rolling the two wheels.
No,
I've got
no,
two
no.
giant mice and I'm rolling them in.
Eventually you stop like, sir, there's nothing here. Zoom, enhance. We're like, and that's when it pops up. You're like, ah!
It just says something like he done it. Cuts in award ceremony. That's all it is.
Man, I can't believe you've done it.
It's just like zooming and like it's just like sweat dripping down your face. You're like, there's nothing here. Like zoom and hands. Boop boop. It's there and like, oh wow. And like,
Wow. We're like, oh, there it is. It's just hard cut. Oh, it's just an award ceremony.
oh there it is.
Oh, okay.
Like we're just like drenched in sweat. Oh there it is.
Yeah.
Award ceremony.
I want to be the fat cop in the background who's sweating even more than everybody else, and
No,
he's
no,
just like,
it-
and he's not doing anything.
It's like when
eating a donut.
It's like in SpongeBob when Squidward's telling SpongeBob the hatchling slasher, and he's eating like his own hand out of the popcorn box. He's like, ah! That's just like you. You're just like, ah! Pouring with sweat, and just like, ah!
Pouring with coffee.
Like Shannon, we'll have like a little hose like out of camera pouring down your face, and there'll be a cup underneath your face, and you're just drinking it as it's coming off. Like,
Oh, do you want to know how they do vomiting in movies? I learned.
yeah, I'd like to know.
There's a little like hose that's kind of like think of like an S shape, like it goes,
Yeah.
and you hook it into your mouth with one of the ends going out. And they have like a tube, so you basically hide your face, and then it just spews out of that, and you just act like you're vomiting as like this little hose kind of like hooks into your mouth and like points out, and it just spews vomit.
Wow.
Well, not actual vomit. I would certainly hope not. Even if it's like not really like touching your mouth, I don't want it to be vomit.
I
Yeah.
think, oh yeah, you get real sick.
But yeah,
Why
that's
don't
how,
they
that's
just
how they
make-
do like projectile vomiting.
Oh wow. Why don't they just do real vomit?
Because you
'Cause
can't make
I-
that much.
Listen, that you might get certain actors who are constantly changing their body shape for movies. That's dedication, but I don't want everybody doing that. That's dangerous.
What is this?
This
This
is
is Godzilla.
Guys,
But we should watch the Halo jump scene.
I'm sure it'll pop up. This is like mid movie. This is mid movie when Godzilla shows up at the airport. I just put it on in the background for
Right,
background.
but now
thing.
you've captured all of our attention.
Didn't I? You know what? I forget how much attention Godzilla can capture sometimes, and I'm like, I'm the only one who's interested in it, and it's like I can turn that off. Everybody else like looks at it is like, I forget like it's a novelty to everyone else, so it's like, oh,
Also, I'd like to point out that Gareth Edwards, he doesn't make that great of plot movies, but like his movies look good.
they look good.
Because like he made Rogue One. Rogue One
Yeah.
looked really good.
Are they like working with Godzilla right now?
So the situation is in the world of this Godzilla, the government is basically just trying to like manage these animals. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't mind the aircraft carrier.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, let's just follow him.
Think of,
because
like-
God knows he goes to anywhere populated.
Oh.
we need to get the jump on him.
A perfect example of like with like the ships next to him. Think of like a shark with a little like fish that swim underneath them. They don't bother each other, and they just kind of like coexist.
Okay.
So
kinda
and
don't
like
get in each other's
they're all
way.
like with Godzilla, it's like, okay, we just need to make sure we know where he's going, and like get people out of his way. With every other monster, it's like, okay, shoot to kill because it's just an animal we can kill. Godzilla's a little different in this world.
Yeah, Godzilla is just...
Is this one where he's a nuclear reactor?
No. This one, I think he's just an animal. He's just he's a big lizard.
And then, yeah, they're, we also talk about it. Well, like, as Ken Watanabe says, I think he's in this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he's just like, let them fight with the two animals. Because it's basically like Godzilla is like hunting right now. Like the other big monsters are like his prey. Not even like prey.
There's a weird system going on where they're like, well, those monsters that come out, those feed on Godzilla's, but Godzilla's also like kill them.
Yeah, basically Godzilla's just like, there's a pest problem that I gotta take care of on the mainland. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Stop shooting me. I'm taking care of business.
Well, also Godzilla is king of the monsters. So
Dude,
he's just like,
if they
King's gotta rule.
If they do the next movie right, it should be pretty cool. According to what's his face, who was talking about it, it's going to be pretty cool.
At this point I don't really care to see Godzilla fight King Kong because I kind of root for both of them too at the same time.
Well, then don't worry about King Kong because that's 2020.
Oh, okay.
The next one is going to be
Godzilla,
Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. Oh, you're going to like the King Ghidorah one.
I feel like that's too much though.
They did it. That was actually like the third Godzilla movie ever made. The fourth.
But like plot wise, I wouldn't say they're that great. You know what I mean? Where it's just like
And then it's
very
going
modern movie.
It's going to be jammed together too. Yeah.
Where it's just like, there's this thing, Mothra, it's bad. Actually, no, it's like, no, it's not. It's friendly. Don't hurt it.
Yeah.
You know, that's how that's going.
I love your pre-analyzation of this, and it's
like that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna tell me like these two things are gonna be in it. They're like Mothra's gonna be there. Like it's another one. Shoot it down. The person's like, no, don't do it. It's a good one. And then they'll either like do it and get really mad and start attacking them and like, see what you've done. We need that one.
Say what you have done.
And then they'll like help it. It'll be like that, but there'll be like jets flying around like Mothra or something.
And they're dogfighting with King Ghidorah and Mothra, like they're flying along in formation.
Yeah, they like help out and like you can fly around.
You've got a great vision for these movies. I want you to go talk to Mike Dotry, who is working on this.
Who's that three-headed one that flies?
King Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah. That's what he's talking about.
Okay. He's like, okay, so all this information is actually out there right now. I can tell you exactly where in this universe all these monsters exist. Rodan is in Mexico for whatever reason.
Who's
hiding.
that?
He's the
He's
pterodactyl.
Yeah, he's a giant pterodactyl. Pterodactyl.
Okay.
Rodan is hiding in a volcano in Mexico because that's the thing he does in all the lore for whatever reason.
Sure. Okay.
Mothra is in.
She's
in China somewhere.
Okay.
For whatever.
In the mountain.
Yeah, in the mountains. King Ghidorah is in either the Antarctic or the North Pole, and they like find him frozen in ice or something.
That one I don't understand.
That's weird. Well, originally, like,
if anyone should be like coming out of a volcano, I think it should be King Ghidorah.
Right, yeah.
Because it's just like this giant three-headed dragon. And it's like that makes sense.
I guess what it is though.
Who also doesn't he breathe fire or like some type of beam?
he has weird electric beams.
Apparently, like he's supposed to be like a ye old dragon.
Well, like there's like three different versions. Either like if it's from like the 60s and stuff, King Ghidorah is from space. He's a space monster. Whatever sense that makes. In the 90s, he's a mutant that people from the future make.
What's the name of the one that walks on all fours, has the spiky back?
Anguirus.
Anguirus. Okay.
He's just a really angry.
I wish he was. He's Godzilla's friend. I wish he was in these movies.
That's like Godzilla's like companion.
There's so many monsters, man.
But like, he the spiky boy is a little too smart, but it's almost like Godzilla's dog.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's that? What's the giant turtle?
That's Gamera. They don't associate for now.
I like Gamera's like my favorite one.
Gamera
is the child.
Gamera's
Gamera
friend with
saves
children. Friends with children.
Yeah, is he in the same world?
No, it's two different companies.
Okay,
What about Jet Jaguar?
Dude, yes, I want Jet Jaguar here now.
That would be so bizarre to look at.
This dude just comes out of like this robot dude
Like
comes
a
out of
Power
nowhere.
Ranger, basically a giant Power Ranger's just there.
Yeah,
and he's
he
just, like,
doesn't
doing karate.
He doesn't.
And you're like, what's happening?
He doesn't speak. He's standing in the middle of the street. He's like, "Who's that guy?" And suddenly he like turns 300 feet tall and starts fighting like the other monsters. Like, what is going on?
I love Gamera. Gamera's the best. I had all his videos on like You know, like when you would go buy like old like videos and they'd come in like you get like the
The
6-pack of
2-packs,
DVDs,
yeah.
and they'd be in like really slim cases. My dad, he'd buy those all the time, so he had like a bunch of really obscure, weird movies, but he had like for some reason like 8 Gamma films, and I'd just watch them all the time.
You had all the Gamera films.
It is all of them.
That's pretty much
But
it.
those are the
That
best.
Alex from
I
that's
still I
Jaguar.
enjoy
And
my
he is as
classic
big as
boy.
Godzilla. Like he's like a regular sized dude that just like grows to that height and then starts.
I
punching
think that was
Godzilla.
because they couldn't get the rights. Like Toho owns Ultraman, but they just couldn't get the rights to put Ultraman in a movie with Godzilla.
He looks scary. He would look scary as hell in that type of like scenario, with just like realistic lighting.
This thing walks up.
But like that exact like model, like that exact looking thing, you'd be like, oh, what is going on?
Are there any in America?
Of what?
Of the Godzilla monsters. Are there any in America?
Like from the original lore, or
Yeah. I don't think any of them come from America. I mean, technically.
Are we gonna get a Mecha Godzilla?
they're working on that, I think.
Where's my
Not
modern
that
day
I.
Gamma
Oh,
movie?
here we go. Godzilla 1998 all scenes. Not that I know of, actually. I think like they avoided putting America in movies because because Godzilla is like, 89% about the bomb.
Mhm.
So like to a certain extent, they didn't want to put didn't want to say America anything because then that's like associating with the bomb. They did, however, in like the original Mothra movie, she was kidnapped by Western looking dudes and taken to a very capitalist country, not America, but to a place that looks like New York.
Canada, Vancouver.
And
Oh, those dirty kids.
No. He was
and
taken-
Mothra wrecks that city. It's actually one of the coolest monster
taken
destruction
straight
scenes
to
ever.
Toronto.
Dang Canadianos.
Well, they use Vancouver a lot to play New York. They film a lot of movies. I wouldn't be surprised if
Mo.
some of the scenes we see in here are from Vancouver. Like Vancouver just gets used so much, not as itself. It's always like, oh, you know what I mean? New York. It's like, no, that's Vancouver. Like, I don't know why, but I think it's just less expensive to film in Vancouver, and it just looks like.
Right,
you know what I mean,
and
our normal
like
city.
they get the plates, like some of the plates of like these imagery of like, oh, this is kind of like New York looking place, and then like the rest of the city around it is Vancouver for like green screen.
But Chandler, what is the monster that like first flies, but then like, you know what it's like a flying disc almost. You know what I mean? It's turtle-like in a way, and then kind of like, you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? At first, there's like one hole. It's just like a weird flying object, and it's got like the one hole, and eventually it becomes a monster. And
Oh, Orga from 2000, Godzilla 2000.
That's the
Took
one.
me a minute. Sorry.
One with the Scythans?
Huh?
One with the Scythans?
No, that's Gigan.
Okay.
I am a stupid nerd.
Sorry, I
This-
No, but it's proving very useful.
It's proving too useful right now.
You can work on one of these movies. Right?
Dude, I'm so dude.
No, are those-
That is my
What
dream
is he
to
eating?
fish.
Just the,
Oh.
like the lower master.
I-
Lower master channel.
I want listen.
He's
There,
the dramaturg.
Japan is going really big into like making new Godzilla things, and they're all made by fans. I am going to get on one of these shows. If they continue making American versions of these movies, I'll settle for that. But I'm gonna go to Japan one day. I'm gonna work on one of these
Do you know
movies.
Japanese?
No,
You can learn.
not
Japanese.
enough.
Actually, Chandler, next semester, you want to take Japanese? Because I'm gonna take Japanese.
I'll take Japanese with you.
If you're gonna go there, you better learn it.
Because listen, I took my Mandarin class today, dude.
Oh, that's where you went. I was like, where did Alex go? I was like, Alex should be
it
here.
was so difficult
Yeah, they say Mandarin is one of the hardest languages to learn.
because I was like, "Shu." There's 4 different ways to say.
You said it wrong.
Shu. No, it's shu. Shu is a word, right? There's 4 different ways to say shu. There's 4 different like differently like shu.
I wish you wouldn't curse at me
Shu,
like that.
And shu. All those mean different things.
Yeah, because in my philosophy class, they had like a dude come in talking about like study abroad, and he's just like, oh yeah, I learned He's like, I learned some, or no, actually it was our professor. He's like, oh yeah, I spent time in like China, but it's just like I know a little bit, but my inflections were all off. So I could tell somebody something, but it'd probably be pretty rude how I said it, or like it just like wouldn't make any sense.
You basically have to start off because it's a lot of phrases, isn't it? Like a lot of
I
things.
don't know Mandarin.
I think a lot of those things are like the way they're said. They're more like phrases or something like that, or they mean like something and something like that.
It's just
So you have to start off every single time you speak. You're like, I'm sorry, my first
What
language
does
is English.
Sh mean?
I don't know. I didn't know what sh means, but I know.
You know how to say it.
Sh, or rather, no, sh. Sh is 10, and then sh was I think it was like I don't know, dude, it was weird. But they were really the instructor was really happy that I walked in there and I could say 6 very well. Cuz I looked at it and I was like, Leo, and they were like, "Whoa, that's really good." I'm like, "Thank you." It's just Leo. But you just like kind of like
You just throw it.
you just throw a Chinese accent on
An
it.
accent.
And, like, just say Leo.
That is
Leo.
the thing
like,
they don't.
Oh, claim.
Lame glums. That's the thing they don't tell you though is like you don't want to be offensive, but it's like sometimes an accent would help sell it more because you have to be able to sell
You
it.
need the accent,
Yeah.
or you sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, like with Spanish, to get the accent, you just have to know how to pronounce the vowels.
Yeah.
Like that's what they taught us like in Spanish class. Is like say, you know what I mean, these vowels a, I, a, o, u. That's how you pronounce like the vowels in Spanish. And when you do that, it just makes it sound, you know what I mean, not like un poco, just un poco.
Un poco.
Like that's it.
And
You
like,
just- you just
sure,
say
you
it.
could say like Leo, and like it would work.
But it's like
you go Leo. That's what you need to do.
if you say Leo, it's like oh you American
Like
piece of crap.
they're like, what do you mean? And like Leo, or I think
They're
like
like,
nine was
you're like Leo. They're like DiCaprio. What?
Moshe
nine,
Moshe.
9 was like Joe, but like so there's like Joe, there's Joe, there's Joe, and then there's like Gio.
But like you're changing enough to where it almost sounds like if I were to spell those out, I would spell them differently.
They're all spelled the same.
Right. But I'm
Except
saying
a
like
different
the
accent in the last letter.
yeah. Well, like you know what I mean. Just different enough. Like the first one is just like that's pretty darn similar. Like the shit. It's like the way different ways you're like saying. I'm like that's pretty similar.
So really
I
quick,
probably donked it
I
up a
want
little
to
bit.
I want to talk about one thing. We're watching like clips from Godzilla in '98. So they somehow put nuclear submarines in the Hudson River. Godzilla like destroys one of these things. Wouldn't that have horrible repercussions for New York?
Godzilla doesn't care.
Well, no, I'm not talking about Godzilla. I'm
I
talking
know.
about the destruction of a nuclear submarine in the Hudson River. Wouldn't that have like horrible, horrifying repercussions?
I mean, that's already like the Hudson River, though. So it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's already got like a
How's
bunch
it
of
already
gross
got, like-
syringes. in
What
there.
about
It's just a cracker.
Godzilla swam
what
through
was
the
the
Hudson
one
River
nuclear
and got
reactor
AIDS.
in New York that went haywire? It was on an island.
Oh,
It
3
wasn't.
Mile.
It wasn't New
3
York.
Mile.
It's in Pennsylvania, but 3 Mile. Yeah,
It's just like that would happen.
not as bad though.
But
Well,
like we
that
also
was
like
not as
we
bad.
also detonated nuclear bombs like in the ocean. It's just like eventually that would what I mean. That radiation goes somewhere.
we
And now the ocean
we
has
detonated
cancer.
so many nukes in Nevada. We poisoned so many people.
Well, I mean,
But
but
the reason why they did in Nevada is because it's like desert. It's like you're not going to be growing stuff here.
That's true, but still,
Yeah.
there's a couple incidents where it's like they didn't watch the wind shift and it carried a mushroom cloud over a populated area. Oops.
oopsie daisy.
They're
It's
now
okay.
super
It's
geniuses.
only nuclear radiation.
They've got the biggest brains.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the biggest
Yeah,
brains.
they
Oh,
get
no,
biggest
they're-
brains.
Like, it's-
doesn't say the tumors don't count. Like
Oh,
no.
It's just like it could have been any other kind of radiation. It would have been bad, but it wouldn't have been as bad because like only that kind of radiation can make other things radioactive. So like even if this room right now was less someone brought a hub in here that just released copious amounts of gamma radiation, nothing else would become radioactive. Only like that nuclei radiation. I can't remember the proper term. It's been draining.
You set it on the table. That part of the table is going to be tainted.
No, yeah, the table would be radioactive until
See,
The end of time.
forever.
also the problem with gamma radiation is that it can penetrate everything except for like lead, because lead is so like you need like just the densest things you can to stop it.
It's like 3 inches.
Alpha radiation
Yeah.
is actually the deadliest radiation.
It's the deadliest,
Well,
but
It can be if you
it's to be easily
if you
thwarted.
ingest it at all, like you're dead. There's nothing they can do. But you can stop alpha radiation with a piece of paper.
Oh.
You can like
So
alpha
it
radiation
doesn't
can
have
get on your
penetration,
skin,
but
and you can
it
just
kills
kind of wipe it off. Like
But
that.
if it gets in your actual
But if
system-
it gets into your Dunyan rings, there's not a
Wait,
darn.
one more time?
If your Dunyan rings, dog,
Okay.
for real.
I'd love for them to tell you that in the military. Listen, guys, you get they're like you get this alpha radiation in you. You are Dunyan rings.
So I went to go get my haircut today. I saw a sergeant that I used to know. First time I met him, he was a specialist. The moment he became sergeant, I was the first private he smoked, and it was awful. But I saw him, and he was telling me about this stuff. He was overseas, and ISIS used chemical weapons on him,
On him?
on his unit. Yeah,
How'd they do that?
they're using.
Is
like,
this not like this?
rudimentary-
Is this classified information or is this out there? You think?
I actually don't. I haven't heard anything about it.
Wow.
But he was saying it open in a haircut salon surrounded by people, so it must not be a big deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm in a chemical unit. I've heard nothing about it yet. But you know, whatever. Maybe it's just brand new news. But from what I heard, was that they're using like rudimentary mustard gas. But they can't do it right. Like they're doing it wrong.
So what are they using fans?
He said, I don't know what he said, but he said like they have it on their weapons.
we gotta look it up.
So you walk out into a field and you like.
Yeah.
flip-
Okay. No, we've got it right here. We're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just typed in ISIS using chemical weapons. First thing that pops up. ISIS used chemical arms at least 52 times in Syria and Iraq.
They're using
Yeah.
mustard
But,
based
like,
weapons.
Right now, like I guess recently they're using mustard gas, and they have like capsules attached to their guns.
It's not.
That's not how it works.
It's not.
So they're just
No.
doing like something like that. They're doing it wrong. They're not doing it right. But it's.
I don't think there's any really, chemical specialist in ISIS. They're like, mustard
No.
gas, that's bad.
He,
Like, that's
he,
it.
he, I remember I'm not gonna say his name, but he's like, yeah, they're doing it wrong. He's like, well, you're not supposed to do it at all. but like they were trying to do it and they were doing it wrong, and he was saying like and I totally forgot about this. This is really U.S. Army training. When a base gets the all clear, before they take off their masks, they find the lowest ranking private with the least important job, and he has to be the first to take off his mask, just in case he dies.
What? Is
Yeah.
that a real?
That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Oh my goodness. What the
So
hell?
if you're a private and that happens to you, you better hope your job's important.
Oh my goodness
because-
gracious.
But I mean, like, yeah. So if you take off your mask and you die, you're dead. But if you take it off and you don't die, you get a really good medal. Yeah, you get a
Do you get a medal?
you get a bomb medal.
Okay, you get a bomb.
Are you
and get
are you
an
like
AF
Dunyan
medal.
rings from the military though? You're like, that's it. Like you took one for the team. You're
No,
out.
you're not gone.
I hope no
You-
one says anything
you
to you.
ju-
They just come in like all the masks and they're like, "Hey, you gotta go." It's just like, got it.
Like, no, I mean, like, that's what it is. Like they're like, okay, who's our lowest ranking dude? And, like, they just have him stand out in the open. Everyone's just like, do it. Like, take it off. And he's like, no, I don't want to. Like, well, not, like, actually, here's how it goes. They put a gun to you and say, take off your mask.
God.
Because, of course, no one's going to want to take off their mask. But somebody's got to do it. So,
And at that point, if someone's pointing a gun at you, it's just like, you wouldn't think that person's gonna shoot you, but if that's the case, it's just like, well, I better just chance it and take off my mask and hope.
But the reason, like, okay, so the gun is like incentive to take off your mask. And if something starts going wrong, they just kill you.
Seriously?
Well, I mean, yeah, because, I mean, if you got...
I guess.
If it's something like...
Can they just let you flip a coin and then like?
No.
And no. I mean, give you a coin. You flip it. You call it, and then if that doesn't work, you pull out a gun. You're like, look, you had to try with luck. Now I'm gonna have to shoot you if you don't take it off.
No. Because
at least-
somebody has
Well-
to do it, and it's like it's something no one like. I get it. No one wants to talk about it, right? But somebody's got to be the dude to take off his mask after the all clear. Someone's got to be the first guy,
Is
in case the all clear was called prematurely.
Is there no other way that we've like figured this out?
There's
Like,
there's not another way to do it.
don't we have like synthetic lungs now and stuff?
But I mean, like,
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, don't we have like a synthetic lungs or like some way of getting like that over?
I don't know.
I'm just saying there might be a way to figure this out later where that might not be the case.
Maybe.
Is
but-
there like a certain amount that like it can't really be detected? Like you have devices that can do it, but it's like,
But I mean,
there's
like,
enough in the air that
some of
could
the
kill you.
devices we use, like one in particular that I work with all the time, and like I check them, do system functions on them a lot. They can be set off, and they can misinterpret chewing tobacco as a nerve agent.
Well, to an extent.
I mean, if there's enough of it.
yeah.
You know, you can take a tin of chewing tobacco, open it up, put it next to it, and that thing will go off, and it's like, you're all gonna die. And like,
Oh, okay. Well,
That's not good.
we're working on. We have that one is like our standard one. We use that one all the time. It's super sensitive, so maybe that's why it's like a kind of a good thing.
I mean, it's
But it's a really bad instrument. I don't really know why we use it. But we have.
But then it's almost like the boy who cried wolf. Like it's just like going off. You're like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like something to just set it off again. You know what I mean?
So
Where
you
it gets to
said
the point where you're like,
the
and the dude's like walking, he's like, and just dies. You're like,
oh!
Yeah, that's where you gotta use the lowest ranking guy. And I was gonna say like, oh, it's set off by off spray too, but off spray actually is a nerve agent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just non-lethal to humans. But like it does that's why it works so well because it shuts down the nervous system of insects. Which so it is a lethal
No
nerve
off
agent.
at this camp.
But yeah, so I saw him today and he was telling me about that. I'm like, I didn't know about that. And then like he told me about that and I was like, I forgot that was a thing. So he's like, they had to find like, the lowest ranking guy and like make him take his mask off at gunpoint. And I was like, oh wow.
How high ranking are you?
but
I'm not a private, so I don't gotta worry about that.
but what if there was just a corporal that everyone didn't like, and they're like, hey, you,
Johnny,
You know, and
take
they're,
off
and
your
they're
mask.
like me, and it's just like, no, it's the lowest ranking guy, and the dude's just like, I'm the guy with the gun, I'm making the rules here, you're
Yeah,
going.
Well, I actually talked to somebody today, and it's like the army's a lot like this. Okay, so your objective is to eat this chicken broth. Okay, and first sergeant says, "Okay, everybody, grab your forks. Let's eat this chicken broth." And you're sitting there with next to a spoon. You're like, "Why don't we just use a spoon?" Like talking to everyone around you, and everyone just kind of looks at you like blank faces. First sergeant said forks, and just start eating your chicken broth with a fork. You know, and you're like, "This doesn't make any sense. There's a much more efficient way to do this." And this is like, "Nope." First sergeant said forks, so we're gonna use our forks. That's the army.
You do as you're told. Don't question.
Not necessarily that. It's just that like even though like if you're like a low ranking dude and you've got a better idea that works more efficiently and there's a dude up top that's kind of a dummy and says this, it doesn't matter that your idea is way better. Like it just doesn't.
I mean, the idea. I mean, okay. Well, the food necessarily isn't where the idea goes.
It's
bad.
just an analogy.
Yeah. The bad part is when you're out and about and you're like, hey, this is a really bad way to go through this landmass because they got snipers this, that, and that way. Could we like head a different way? It's like, no, we gotta go this way because we have other people going that way. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just dead. See ya.
Well, kind of.
It's also like what you're talking about with the army thing. It really reminds me of in Saving Private Ryan when they're walking, they're talking about the mission where it's like, oh, all of us have to go save one guy, and all the troops are like, so talking to Tom Hanks' character, like, this is ridiculous. It's like, Kevin, what do you think? He's like, oh no, grapes don't go down, they go up. And they ask him, it's like, well, if you know, like, let's pretend I'm your superior officer. What do you say? I say, I think this is a great mission, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, pretty much.
I like this airport scene in Godzilla. I don't know why it's playing through. Like, it looks like it's playing through like scenes, but it looks like the whole movie. I don't know.
Both.
You usually like a look. It's like the wrong time of the movie. You're like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I've also said that Bryan Cranston was like only in like 10 minutes of this movie.
It is ridiculous. That was what I was.
You're like,
pumped
yeah,
for.
Bryan Cranston.
He's gonna
gone.
fight Godzilla. I was rooting him to be like Serizawa before we found out what's his name.
Ken Watanabe.
Before Ken Watanabe turned out to be Serizawa, and I'm like, oh well, Ken Watanabe is gonna die at the end because of something, and he doesn't because reasons. But
I was gonna say something earlier, because I was thinking about the sense of dread you would feel in this situation.
if you're in the airport and
if
this
things are
thing
just exploding around you and you like,
this thing walks by and you're
Yeah.
just like, my life is meaningless.
I think I've already said it like 3 times on the dark side, but that one dream I had where I was in Cass City and I was living in that farmhouse, and we were on the U.S. was on nuclear alert, and like we had a bunker outside, and like the alarm's going off, like bombs getting dropped. You know, my whole family were all running out there, and like I'm the first one out, and I have my little brother in my arms, and like not too far off, like a bomb hits, mushroom cloud goes up, and you can see the shockwave coming, and I'm running, and I'm like already in the thing, and I'm like waiting for my family, like come on, and they're like just shut it, and I'm like no, and they're like no, and they're like like if some of them are like wait, don't do it, and I'm like but the thing's coming, I have to shut it, and I have to in the dream I had to shut and lock the thing, and then like you can feel like the thing go across, and like you know everything up top is done, and like in the dream I'm like sitting up against the wall in the bunker with my little brother in my arms, and he's just bawling his eyes out, and like I'm sitting there, and it's like me like on the gray wall, and we're just like the camera's just like zooming out like slowly, and like the place where my family should have been is empty besides me and my little brother. We're just stuck in this little bunker now, and it's just zooming out like this, and then it was like fade to black, and I woke up.
Alex,
Man, your mind is really.
I'm gonna cry. That's my worst nightmare, and you had that as a
The
Dude.
intense sense of dread I felt in that dream, I think about it every single time I see stuff like that.
I need to give you a hug or something, because
Also, there is a movie that I watched a long time ago about an atomic bomb blast. I want to say it's like a movie from like the 60s, like the 70s, very low. I watched it on YouTube. It was on YouTube.
yeah, is it? I think it's the famous one where.
Well, no, because like I've seen what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, I've seen this movie, and they play clips. I'm like, this isn't the movie I watched, because there's like a family, or there's like the old dude in the basement, because they're all like in the basement. They're not like in like a bunker per se.
okay.
They're like in a basement. Everything up top is like rubble. There's one of the plot points is there's a dog. One of the kids goes up top. I can't remember like you know what I mean. A lot of the plot details. Maybe it is like that movie, and I'm just seeing like the wrong scene.
Are there scenes where like they show the highway and the mushroom cloud in the background?
I don't think so, but it is. Cause it's not like a super cheap, because they walk up and everything's like destroyed. They have like scenes of, like rubble and stuff like that. They have to deal I think they like go somewhere to get supplies, but they're also like when they go up top they have to deal with radiation and all that. But it's like a movie from like the 60s or 70s. It could even be from like the 50s, but like one of those sneaky ones where you're like, oh, this is from the 60s or 70s. Like, oh no, it's from the 50s. It just had color. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, okay.
And quality.
Yeah,
Now I
some
need to
sort.
go home and play Metro. I never played it before, but I bought them a little bit ago, and like I think it'll fit
It's
that
a combination
horror.
of a horror, nuclear fallout, and monsters. Like
Yeah.
that's the trifecta there.
I would regret everything I've ever done in my life if I ended up like my backup plan is like, oh, if something goes down, join the Navy because chances are you'll be pretty safe there. I would regret every decision I ever made if I joined the Navy and they're like, okay, listen, our aircraft carrier, we're following that. And I look out the window and it's Godzilla. I'm like,
Dude, a bone.
Yeah, our whole mission is to make sure that doesn't make landfall, and if it does, well, oh well. And I'm like, huh?
Did you jump off the boat?
Yeah,
Did you try to swim?
no, pretty
Everything-
much. I'm like, I steal a plane and try to get away.
Everything I hear about like which branch
okay.
you should join is like always like if you want to join a branch that's just like the most fun, the Navy, I guess.
The Navy.
The Navy.
Or the safest, because
I know they call the Air Force the Chair Force because they don't really do much, right? But like
that takes skill. You need a lot of skill.
Yeah, it has a lot of prerequisites. But the Navy, you just join, and as long as you have the ability to swim and you have you can just do their basic tasks, you just get to go on like a cool
Dude.
ship and hang out.
My
So,
dad
I
has
mean,
so
like-
many Navy stories where like there's
And, like-
dudes who join the Navy and they can't swim.
Why? Wait.
It's a thing that happens all the time apparently, and the dudes like my dad was telling me about like he was going in specifically for, well, not I don't think it was specific. I think it was the general thing you had to do, but there was a high dive, and you had to be like, okay, you're jumping off this high dive, which is like
Basically, it would simulate like
It-
the drop from
a
the
ship
carrier into the
yeah.
water.
Yeah, it's an 80-foot fall, and you just got to make sure you know how to drop. And there's people like, I can't do that. I don't know how to swim. And they're like, why did you sign up for the Navy?
Well, a lot of Navy men actually, like, you can serve your whole like life in the Navy and actually never step on a boat.
I know, but still, it's like what do you associate most with the Navy? Boats.
I should say ships because
Ships, yes.
there's a distinction.
A boat.
But like what I've always heard is like if you want to be safe, try to like if there's a war going on like everybody's expecting with like North Korea, get into the Navy, get onto an aircraft carrier because that's probably your safest bet.
Also,
Yeah.
it's 11 o'clock.
Those things will survive nukes.
Um,
Anyways, yeah, we're closing up. So we're gonna end tonight. Stop watching Godzilla.
Yeah.
Um,
The 2012 one.
2014, yes. Pretty good night. A lot of fun. Yeah. And join us again next week, and we'll have more fun. We'll talk about more or less morbid things, and movies, and theories, and things. Alex, any last words?
Make sure. Oh, I stepped on your Oxfords, bud. But make sure you go home. You drink your daily requirements of Beepus,
Of Opaltine.
Opaltine, and drink your milk.
Bye, everybody. Bye.